afternoon, folks. My name is Brandon Orr, and I'm here in the beautiful city of Raleigh, North Carolina. And today I'm shooting a series of 360-degree panoramas for a virtual tour that I plan on posting to Roundme. And here are a few tips and tricks on how I do that. So pretty much whenever I got into panoramic photography, it was mainly because I was looking at these so-called Photosphere Zone on Google Street View, and I thought, oh, well, that looks pretty cool. Why don't I do that? But whenever I first tried it, I had absolutely no clue what it was I was doing. All I knew was, okay, you take a camera, you spin it around in a circle, you take enough photos to cover that circle, and then boom, you have a 360 photo. And I did everything wrong. I had the camera in full automatic mode, autofocus, auto white balance, and so the resultant panorama left a lot to be desired. I pretty much sat down and made a list of equipment that I needed, and I ended up going with a full frame camera and an 8mm Sigma fisheye lens. And I actually bought a used tripod head for that lens. So from there, I still started shooting, but I was stitching with Photoshop alone. And Photoshop, the photo stitcher is like a black box. You put photos in, it gives you something out. You don't really have much control over it. But then I found out about Panorama Tools Graphical User Interface, also known as PT GUI. And that pretty much became my software of choice when it comes to trying to stitch photos and trying to make 360 panoramas. And so the more and more I did my research, the more equipment I bought, and the more I tried to improve my technique, pretty much over time the stuff got better. So every time that I go to a place like this, I always try to see what exactly is it that's interesting. Because you can look at Google Maps and you can look at Street View all day, but you really can't see the fine details of a place and see what it is that one might find interesting or might not find interesting. For example, whenever you see works of architecture such as the old state capitol building, which is behind me personally, I find it interesting because you just don't see places built like this anymore. Also too, whenever you have these statues around here, me personally, I try to find, well, why do they have this statue here? Why is it that these statues are commemorating whatever it is that they're commemorating? And how does it fit in with the overall theme of the city? Okay, folks, and now I'm going to show you pretty much what I do whenever I shoot a panorama. So first of all, I make sure I have all my gear in working order before I even set anything up. I have my camera ready. I have a wireless remote, have everything taped up so nothing is loose and swinging about. And one of the important things that I do is I try to go to a spot and I try to see what exactly is the best spot for shooting. I look back here and I see that there's two cannons right here, and I think that'll be really great to kind of complement this picture that I'm going to see right here. So I will probably end up setting up my tripod in this particular location. I usually don't recommend putting the camera on the ground, but because I know where the camera is, and so what I try to do is set up the tripod first and set it up where the center of that brick is. And then I try to see, okay, you have 4 bricks in, 4 bricks in. It's nice and centered. That way I get a good symmetrical panorama and I don't have anything that's too lopsided. So I'm going to level the actual tripod head. And here, what I do is I have the camera off of it because it makes leveling it a whole lot easier. And so I just line up each and every one of these little bubble levels. Manual mode, manual focus, ISO 100. And I have it set up for a white balance for sunlight. And before I even put it on the tripod, what I do is I make sure that the lens is actually focused. And so then, just put it on the actual tripod head. Make sure that it's actually lined up with the gauge on the tripod head. That way it rotates around the no parallax point, because if it rotates anywhere else, there's definitely going to be some stitching issues. And then what I do is I make sure that my wireless remote is on. All right. And then once again, I make sure that everything is good and level. Camera is on, and now I'm just ready to shoot. And so once I have everything set up, the good thing about Roundme is you can put regular photos in to complement the actual panorama. And so now that I've taken the panorama, I try to look at specific spots that might be easily overlooked. And then take photos of each one of these. And then what I would do is I will go back and I would do research on the significance of each one of these individuals. And that's one of the good things about Roundme, is you can actually put photos in there and also hotspots to tell more of the story behind it, and not just, hey, look, I got a beautiful panorama. So today was a pretty good day walking around here in the grounds of the state capital of North Carolina, and hopefully go home, edit this and post it on Roundme. And pretty much the good thing about Roundme, to summarize, is it allows me to post high quality panoramas, compile virtual tours, and then put elements of it that you really wouldn't be able to do anywhere else. So I want to thank the good folks at Roundme for coming out and taking the time to interview, and I want to thank you all for watching this video and listening to my tips and tricks, and hopefully everything was helpful. And so if you want to get in touch with me, I'm on Google+, Facebook, and if you want to see some of my work, just go to my Roundme page especially. And so with that, I want to say have a great afternoon. See you later.